Hi, this is Jim Gould with Backseat Broker, the show where we dig into the resources that are valuable to you as a buyer and seller. Today I have Mike Nelson on with us. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, Jim. How are you doing, man? I'm excited to be here today.
Doing great. Mike is with Integrity Home Group and powered by eXp Realty, and want to talk about the value of eXp to consumers. So, Mike, for those who have not heard of eXp, when did it launch and what makes it unique?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you asked that question. eXp was probably, I don't know the exact time frame, but it was probably 6-7 years ago. Started really from a couple of folks that were from a previous brokerage. They loved that model at that brokerage. They just felt like they could do things a little bit better, maybe a little bit more agent-centric. And the other company was really agent-centric. So it was interesting to me to see how they were going to make it more agent-centric. And I can get into those details as well as to why I see it more agent-centric than I did, maybe a few years ago. But I probably spent 9 years with another boxed brokerage, very similar to eXp. And one of the things that was approached to me about 3 or 4 years ago by some people that I had some uber respect for. They were really big players in the real estate market. I just had been lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a relationship with them because of meeting them at a mastermind or an event that they were holding, whatever the case may be. And one of them was actually a coach of mine at that previous brokerage. And he said, "You got to check this out." And I wasn't ready at the time, right? And I think there's a lot to be said by, the timing's right when the timing is right. For me, it wasn't right. Now, looking back, could I have been positioned a heck of a lot different and better than I am today? Taking advantage of only having 1,000 agents with the brokerage and 80,000 now because of rev share? Absolutely. But we always look back, right? And sometimes wish we would have done something slightly different. Right. But yeah, now they're at like 86,000 agents, I think. There's been some serious trajectory. It's kind of like that. They always say there's like this hockey stick approach in business, right? And so it kind of starts like on a flat blade, and then all of a sudden, once you catch momentum and fire, it takes off. So for me, I could have had an opportunity in a window 3 years ago. It wasn't the right time for me because I was running in some leadership at that previous brokerage, and I had some non-compete clauses because of that. And that wasn't why I didn't go. I was just very comfortable with where I was at. So,
okay, great. And tell me a little bit about eXp's leadership, how it started, and who's kind of leading the charge.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So Glenn Sanford is the founder of the company. Glenn's been a guy that's been in real estate. That's what I really like and appreciate. So was Keller Williams, as an example. Gary Keller, love that guy because he grew up and built a business on real estate. He wasn't one of these outside venture capitalists coming in, getting on the board, and then telling everybody in the industry how to run their industry. Like Glenn knew the industry. He came up with the industry. So Glenn is very forward thinking in the technology space. He's one of those kind of light year ahead future guys. He's always kind of working in a realm of decades in the future, if you will, which is really interesting. And that's one thing that I thought was really cool with eXp was their technology, right? And their focus on it, probably more importantly. If you watch the real estate industry over the last decade, you see how much influence technology has had in this industry. Way more virtual things going on, online transactions, right? All of that stuff is no longer open the book and a buyer comes in and you share the magazine with all the houses that are for sale, right? So
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So eXp started as a virtual company. Like, how does that impact buyers and sellers?
Yeah, it actually has zero impact. Most of the time when I tell people, like, how often did you meet with your real estate agent? If somebody asked me that, I was like, well, how often did you meet at their office? At most, I would get maybe the original consultation when they would sit down with me and sign some contracts and some paperwork. I said, would that bother you if I had you meet in a Regis office, which is not a branded named brokerage office? Would that change your mind in using me or not? And the answer is always like, no, I don't really care where I meet you, Mike. I just want to hear how you're going to help me obtain my goals.
Sure.
So, no, none whatsoever.
Okay. And what are some of the benefits of eXp to buyers and sellers?
Yeah, so from a buyer and seller standpoint, that's a great question. I don't know that I've ever really been asked that one. So that's a cool question because what I look at it is from the buyer standpoint, we're definitely using cutting edge technology. The reality of it is, the MLS will drive most of the opportunities for possible houses to purchase, right? That's not a brokerage centric type thing. However, being able to have the backbone and the support of the company that is always kind of keeping us in front of what houses are coming on the market, right? Things of that nature is always pretty cool. And a lot of times it's probably less about finding the house. It's probably more about going through the transaction. So when you're a buyer going through the transaction, you want as seamless of a process as possible, because it can already be a little bit stressful. Sometimes negotiations can be stressful. Sometimes rethinking was this the right house that I should have purchased, right? Those are natural human tendencies that kind of creep into your mind. The last thing you want is, hey, can you re-sign this contract 12 times because our programs aren't working? Or, hey, our website's down, so we can't do anything today, right? That stuff is taken for granted, but it can really throw added stressors into the transaction. On the listing side, of course, we have a lot of programs where we can push those properties out to our network within EXP, which gives our sellers a little bit more visibility sometimes than just waiting for it to hit the MLS.
Sure.
A lot of times us and EXP have an internal communication page called Workplace where we can post our listings on there. Certainly they're on the MLS too, but we can cross-pollinate and share that. It's just a lot of collaboration within EXP where we all want to help each other and help our buyers and sellers achieve their dream.
Fantastic. And you lead a team called Integrity Home Group. What's the value to a home buyer or seller to having a team?
Yeah, really what's awesome about that, and I've always been a team player anyways, whether it's sports, military, you name it. And what I find is very much like a doctor's office. You want specialists that specialize in certain areas. You sure don't always want me drawing up your paperwork. I can do it, but I have somebody who's much better at doing that, right? They specialize in that skill set. So when you go to a doctor's office, you certainly don't want the doctor answering the phone, scheduling appointments, and then then him running to the back of the office to take your blood pressure, and then running back to the front, right, to out-process somebody, right? You just want specialized people. And from a team, that's what we have, right? We have marketing specialists, we have buyers and listing specialists, we have contract specialists. So you really get a specialist instead of jack of all trades, master of none. You get masters of a single lane of focus.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's great. And now that you've switched from another brokerage to EXP, what are some of the benefits to an agent looking to sign up with EXP?
Yeah, I love this aspect of it because there are so many additional layers of opportunity. Like, you could be different stages of your career coming to EXP, right? You can be brand new licensed to somebody who's 40 years in the business, and it's going to look different, right? Somebody that's brand new might be production. I need to get as much bang for my buck as I can, helping buyers and sellers achieve their goals. Whereas somebody who's more senior may be looking for, a lot of times in real estate, the challenge is a lot of people don't have that exit strategy. And that's may not tie into buyers and sellers as much, but this company gives them opportunities, almost like a corporate world, right? Umbrella would be to give them ways to generate additional income. But maybe back to your buyers and sellers, why EXP is really important on that is essentially what we're talking about, agents. I'm sorry. Hey guys, you can probably chop this last 10 seconds out.
That's all right. You want me to ask again?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike, now that you've switched from another brokerage to EXP, what are some of the advantages to an agent in joining EXP? Yeah,
actually, I'm glad you asked that. So, with agents, like I said, they come in with different tenures. Some might be newly licensed, some may be experienced. So an experienced agent may be looking for, hey, I've kind of mastered selling and buying homes, right? I can do 12, 14, 18 in my sleep. However, I want to look at opportunities to do verticals, right? Additional residual income type opportunities or passive income. And that actually applies to new agents too. So what's really cool about EXP is you're an owner of the company. So they'll actually give you stock in the company, and then you can also get the agent discount as well. So the agent stocks equity discount, right? So you can buy stock at 10% discounted at 5% of each of your checks, right? So you're becoming an owner of the company. You're not just being told what to do. You actually have a voice in the company. The other thing that I thought was drastically different is at the previous brokerage, I had brought in probably 24, 25 people over 9 years, maybe more. And the profit share model, which is just kind of common economics, is drastically different than a revenue share, right? Anybody would rather take a percentage off of gross revenue as opposed to gross profit, unless you're the business owner, right? As a business owner, it makes sense that I only want to pay out if I'm profitable, yet an EXP model is off the gross revenue. So a couple of highlights there, the fact that they have healthcare, not very many of them offer that in other brokerages. And so there's kind of a litany of things that was very agent centric to me. Do I need the healthcare? No, I don't. However, agents on our team certainly didn't want to pay those marketplace costs, and they were able to find some really good health insurance that was really good peace of mind to them, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, well, great. Thanks, Mike, for your time today. We really appreciate it, and good luck this year.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate partnering with you, man.
All right. Take care.
All right. See ya.
Bye.